You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now. It's important. It has a deadline. Some part of you has been thinking about it all day, and instead, you're here, watching this, which, let's be honest, is a little bit funny and a little bit painful. Here's what almost nobody tells you about procrastination. It has almost nothing to do with laziness, nothing to do with willpower, and, this is the big one, nothing to do with managing your time. The scientists who study this for a living say procrastination is an emotional problem. And there's a brain scan that reveals the strangest reason of all. When you leave a task for future you, your brain treats future you like a total stranger. You've been told the fix is discipline, so you buy the planner. You make the color-coded to-do list. You download the app with the little streak counter. And a week later, the app is just one more thing you're avoiding. Because you've been trying to fix a time problem. And procrastination was never a time problem. Meet Dr. Tim Pitchell, a psychologist at Carleton University who has spent his whole career studying why we put things off. His conclusion is blunt. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It's an emotion management problem. Think about the last thing you avoided. Really think about it. It probably made you feel something before you even started. Maybe it was boring. Maybe it was confusing, and being confused made you feel a little stupid. Maybe it mattered so much that you were scared of doing it badly. That feeling is the enemy, not the task. So your brain does something clever and terrible. It offers you an escape hatch. Check your phone. Make a snack. Suddenly decide to clean the entire kitchen. Anything that makes the bad feeling go away right now. Pitchell calls it giving in to feel good. You're not avoiding the work. You're avoiding how the work makes you feel. And here's the trap hidden inside the trap. The longer you avoid it, the worse that feeling gets. The email you didn't answer on Monday feels harmless. By Thursday, it has grown teeth. Now it's not just an email. It's proof you're irresponsible. It's the awkward apology you'll have to write. It's a little knot in your stomach every time you open your inbox. The task never changed, but the feeling around it got heavier every single day you ran from it. That's what makes procrastination look so bizarre from the outside. You're not running from 5 minutes of work. You're running from a feeling that keeps growing, precisely because you keep running. And if you think you're uniquely broken for this, you're not. A psychologist named Piers Steel pulled together decades of research into a book called The Procrastination Equation, and found that about 1 in 5 adults are chronic procrastinators. Not, oops, I was late once, chronic. And it has been getting worse, not better, for 50 years straight. This isn't a personal flaw. It's closer to a design flaw built into the human brain. And to see that design flaw up close, you have to know that you are not one decision maker. You're two, and they are fighting. The first is your prefrontal cortex, right behind your forehead. The planner, the responsible adult. It knows the deadline, it made the schedule, it genuinely wants to start. The second is your limbic system, deep, old, and emotional. It doesn't understand deadlines, it doesn't care about next week. It runs on one rule: feel good now, avoid pain now. And here's the unfair part. The old emotional one is stronger. So when the planner says we should really start, and the limbic system feels, ugh, no, the ancient one usually wins. Scientists even scanned the brains of chronic procrastinators and found something physical. A larger amygdala, the brain's fear and alarm center, and a weaker connection to the region that's supposed to keep it in check. Their internal alarm is literally louder, and the brakes are literally weaker. It was never about being lazy. Some brains just come with a bigger panic button. That doesn't explain the strangest thing about procrastination. Because we don't just avoid the task, we hand it to someone. We say, future me will deal with it. And a brain scanner revealed exactly who your brain thinks future me is. A researcher named Hal Hershfield slid people into an fMRI scanner. He asked them to think about themselves today, then about a stranger, then about themselves 10 years from now. Here's the shock. When people imagined their future self, their brains lit up almost exactly the way they did for the stranger. Not like thinking about themselves, like thinking about somebody else entirely. Sit with that for a second. When you say, I'll do it tomorrow, a part of your brain genuinely hears, let that other guy handle it. Future you isn't really you, as far as your brain is concerned. He's a sucker you can dump your problems on. That's why it feels so easy to schedule pain for next week. You're not scheduling it for yourself. You're scheduling it for a stranger who just happens to have your name. And Hershfield proved the flip side too. In another study, he showed people a digitally aged photo of their own face, their future self, wrinkles and all, and then asked them to make money decisions. The people who looked their future self in the eye suddenly chose to save more for retirement. Nothing else changed. For one moment, they simply believed the old person was them. When future you stops being a stranger, you stop robbing him. Now here's the cruel twist that turns procrastination from a bad habit into a trap. After you put something off, how do you feel? Guilty, ashamed. What is wrong with me? And that guilt seems useful, like it'll shame you into doing better next time. It does the exact opposite. Remember the whole mechanism. Procrastination is your brain escaping a bad feeling, and guilt is a bad feeling. So the shame you pile on yourself becomes one more thing you need to escape from by procrastinating again. The guilt isn't the cure, it's the fuel. Researcher Fuchsia Sirois found that chronic procrastinators carry more stress and more shame, and the shame just feeds the next round. You beat yourself up to get moving, and the beating is exactly what keeps you stuck. So what actually breaks the loop? The first answer sounds almost too soft to be real. It's forgiveness. In one study, researchers followed students across their exams. The ones who forgave themselves for procrastinating before the first exam, who genuinely let it go instead of spiraling, procrastinated less before the next one. Dropping the guilt didn't make them lazier, it made them freer. Because once the task isn't wrapped in shame, it stops being scary. And there's one more trick, one that works with your brain instead of against it. Make the first step almost insultingly small. Don't write the essay. Open the document and type one ugly sentence. Don't go for a run. Just put the shoes on. Because the dread lives in the anticipation, the part before you begin. The moment you actually start, something shifts. Psychologists noticed long ago that once you start a task, your brain hates leaving it unfinished and quietly nags you to complete it. The hardest part was never the work. It was the 3 feet between you and the first tiny move. So the next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone instead of the thing you're supposed to do, don't ask, "Why am I so lazy?" You're not. Ask a better question. What feeling am I trying to escape right now? Name it. Bored. Anxious. Scared I'll do it badly. The moment you name the feeling, it shrinks. It turns from a character flaw into a small, solvable thing. Then forgive the version of you who put it off. And take one tiny step, so small it's almost embarrassing. Because shame just hands the whole job back to that stranger in the scanner. The one who is never going to do it anyway. It's still there. It still matters. Part of you is still thinking about it. But now you know the truth. You were never avoiding the task. You were avoiding a feeling. And a feeling you can name is a feeling you can finally put down. For being curious with me, and okay, be honest, what were you actually supposed to be doing before you clicked on this video? Tell me in the comments. No judgment. We're all in the scanner together. Stay curious. I'll see you in the next one.